When I started this channel a few months ago, I told myself I didn't really want to do album reviews, since everyone and their mother is doing YouTube reviews nowadays, and it just seemed kind of boring or something, I don't know. But man, I've been listening to this new Freddie Gibbs and Madlib album non-stop since it came out, and I just can't shut up about it anymore. It's such a fantastic follow-up to 2014's Bandana, which is one of my favorite hip-hop albums of the decade, so I was expecting to be disappointed because, you know, how can you top this shit? But they did it, man. They delivered the goods. So here it is. My review of Bandana. Like I said, Bandana is the long-awaited follow-up to 2014's Bandana, the duo's only other project. But separately, these two have been in the game for a very long time. Especially producer Madlib, who, long before collaborating with Freddie Gibbs, was already a household name in the hip-hop scene, working with underground legends like J Dilla, Talib Kweli, and of course MF Doom on their collaborative masterpiece Mad Villainy, doing his own solo stuff under numerous names, my personal favorite being his zany alter ego Quasimodo, and helping independent record label Stone's Throw become one of the most beloved and innovative hip-hop labels of all time. Madlib's beats typically offer a nice balance between the more traditional and experimental side of underground hip-hop, and their dreamy, lo-fi aesthetic makes him instantly recognizable. The man doesn't need some annoying producer tag, because when he's on a track, you'll know it within seconds of hearing it. He's just such a fucking legend who, from the mid-90s until now, has been one of the most consistent hip-hop producers out there, if you ask me. Freddie Gibbs, on the other hand, is a more straightforward gangster rapper, known for his raw delivery and thug-life lyrical content in the vein of people like Tupac and DMX. And though I respect the fact that he's gathered a pretty large following without playing the major label game, I'm not really a fan of his early mixtapes and other solo projects. To me, Freddie Gibbs sounds best when he's working with Madlib. And I'm not saying he's a whack rapper. He has a great voice, convincing delivery, and enough technical skill to hold his own on a track with people like Raekwon, E40, Danny Brown and Black Thought, all of whom he has collaborated with in the past. But like I said earlier, he's pretty straightforward. He's great, but combined with the more basic, trap-inspired production he usually raps over, he sounds a little generic. So him collaborating with someone like Madlib is the best thing that could ever happen if you ask me. Because when Gibbs is rapping over these bizarre lo-fi hip-hop beats filled with vintage funk and soul samples, his dark tales of growing up poor and selling drugs to get by have so much more character and emotional weight to them. Plus they force him to come out of his comfort zone and tackle a more personal topic every once in a while. And in a way, Gibbs forces Madlib to come out of his comfort zone too. Because Madlib is mostly known for working with more experimental rappers like MF Doom, and Gibbs' more direct, street-oriented content and delivery force him to make something that's more to the point, more street, and the result is fucking fantastic. But that album came out 5 years ago, and being the skeptic, know-it-all jerk I am, I didn't expect them to ever follow it up, at least not with something worthwhile. And boy was I wrong. Maybe it's a little early to make these sorts of claims since the album only came out last week, but I think Bandana is just as good and in some ways even better than Pinata. It has the same sort of dreamy, sample-heavy production you would expect from Madlib, but what's funny is that, while he's pretty much sticking to his signature style, his production sounds more relevant than ever, since people like Earl Sweatshirt and Tyler the Creator have been taking a lot of inspiration from him lately, and all the lo-fi hip-hop producers who are dominating YouTube and SoundCloud right now are straight up ripping him off. And if you're not all that familiar with Madlib's material, his beats might come off as run-of-the-mill lo-fi hip-hop on first listen. But if you give it some time, you'll notice how incredibly layered his beats are. They're not just chill background noise you can study or smoke weed to. They're carefully crafted with great attention to detail. Take a song like Fake Names. The instrumental sounds pretty skeletal on first listen, but if you dig a little deeper, you start to notice little things like the pizzicato strings or the slight variations in the bass line. Things like that give a song replay value, because every time you listen to it, you can find something new to appreciate. But the real star of this album is Freddie Gibbs, in my opinion. His rapping style is so much more varied than it has been on previous projects. On Palm Olive, he sounds really calm and cold-blooded. On songs like Flat Tummy Tea and Half Main, Half Cocaine, he has this rapid-fire triplet flow and he's fucking killing it. And then there's Goddamn, a more sensitive track about his road to success and the friends he's lost along the way. He's singing most of the track and it goes over pretty well. Overall, the Tupac influence is still pretty obvious, but if there's one thing Pac is known for, it's his ability to constantly change his style up and deliver different types of songs. So I'm glad Freddie Gibbs is doing that as well now. Another thing I like about the album is that it's not too long. In about 45 minutes, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib give you everything you need and nothing you don't. Because nowadays, in the age of streaming, way too many rap albums are ruined because they're overly long. Travis Scott's Astroworld, Migos Culture 2, it's like, dude, cut the crap and just give us the good shit. The album has kind of a slow start, but it really picks up when the single Crime Pays kicks in. The beat has this psychedelic but jazzy sort of quality to it, something you would normally find on a Quasimodo record, and it fits Gibbs' smooth delivery and lyrics about drug dealing really well in my opinion. Then there's the before mentioned Palm Olive, featuring Killer Mike and Pusha T. And though it's not the bar fest you would expect given the people involved, it's still a pretty solid track. If there's one feature that really steals the show for me, it's Anderson .Paak on Guyana's, which didn't really come as a surprise since Anderson .Paak has been killing it with his features lately. I mean, you can pretty much put the dude on anything that's somewhat soulful and upbeat and he'll fucking nail that shit. Just a great musician. Guyana's is preceded by a really funny skit where a dude calling himself the cussing pastor is telling you should stop giving a shit what other people tell you to do. It's pretty hilarious. And the transition from the skit to the Wu-Tang-esque beat of Guyana's is just perfect. Probably my favorite moment on the whole album. Besides Guyana's, my favorite songs would be Cataracts because of its sweet, soulful instrumental, and Flat Tummy Tea, because I love it when Gibbs does something more technical and flashy, since he doesn't dumb down his lyrical content the same way someone like Post Marshall Mathers LP Eminem would. I mean, have you ever read the lyrics to Rap God? It's nothing but dad jokes and cheap one-liners. Freddie Gibbs, on the other hand, sticks to one topic, slavery/colonialism and how it affects us today, and delivers a lot of thoughtful lines on it, while still rapping his ass off. That being said, I do have a few gripes with the album. Like I said earlier, it starts kinda slow and it takes a few songs to really get going. Not that freestyle shit and half main, half cocaine are bad songs. I just think they would fit better later in the track list. Plus, I think Crime Pays would have been a great opener, but hey, maybe that's just me. Another gripe I have is that the album could have used a few more hard-hitting tracks. Not that I expect Madlib to produce a club banger, but another track like Guyana's or Flat Tummy Tea would have been nice. The only song I would probably take off the track list is Situations. Freddie's doing his thing, but the skeletal drums and two-note bass line get pretty boring after a while. Other than that, the album is amazing from front to back and I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of Freddie Gibbs or Madlib's previous efforts. And even if you've never heard of these guys, but you do like more lyrical rap that has kind of a lo-fi aesthetic to it, please check this thing out. Okay, since this is a review, I guess I have to rate the album now, so... there you go. 9 out of 10.